Hi, everybody. I apologize in advance. I caught a cold from my nephew who started daycare, and so that's why I have this kind of really sultry jazz voice. So I am going to stick near the microphone because I don't have anything to clip the thing on, but that's okay. It's kind of mix-it decision by default. So my name is Sofia Tokar. I am the web writer and communications officer for Art Sciences and Engineering here at the University of Rochester. I work in university communications. I've been here now for 5 years. I also do freelance writing, freelance editing, freelance instructing, and consulting. And I'm also one of the students in the MS in Online Teaching and Learning program here at Warner. So basically, I'm a word nerd by day and a bookworm by night. And so if you have any good book recommendations, I'd love to chat with you afterward. When it comes to the courses that I've actually taken several here now at the Warner School, but I've also taken courses on Coursera, FutureLearn, and I took and I teach a course at higheredexperts.com. So the Higher Ed Experts one is on web writing. I've also taken a professional development course there for search engine optimization. The other ones were more like just ones I was interested in, so literature of the English country house, literature in the digital age. As you can see, there's going to be a theme here with books. And I was in class with Judy for Learning in the Digital Age with Jane, Master's Research Methods with Lisa Brown, Teaching and Learning in Higher Education and Healthcare Settings with Dave Miller, Motivation and Human Development with, I don't know if Dr. Martin Lynch is here, but he has the most soothing voice ever. And I really wanted to meet him in person. So if you're here, Dr. Lynch, meet me after. Introduction to Video Production with Kristana Textor, which I want to talk about specifically because that was an interesting case of where hybrid learning, I think, really maximized the learning. Entrepreneurial Skills for Educators, also with Dave Miller, and Designing Online Courses with Professor Fredrickson. So all the courses I've taken so far have either been completely online or hybrid, all of them, and either synchronous or asynchronous, but none of them, self-paced. So what was it isolating? I think that really depends. Are you the kind of person who needs or wants, craves, human contact? Are you the kind of person who shows up to class and you make friends and connect with people because you ask the person next to you to borrow a pen? If so, then maybe online learning isn't for you. But I think actually that for a lot of people, online learning can be liberating, can be really an opportunity. So maybe for those of us who are a little bit more introverted, that isolation, quote unquote, can give you some time, can give you time to sit, think, reflect before maybe you post your thoughts to a discussion board. So then that takes a little bit of the pressure off you. You don't feel like you have to come up with something right away in class or if you get called on the spot. So that's one kind of advantage. Another way it can be liberating is that you're in a safe space. Maybe you're in your bedroom or on the couch or in a library, a coffee shop, a place where you feel comfortable and relaxed. And that can just help you feel open to learning and maybe open to conversing. I know sometimes in a seminar room or in a classroom, it can be daunting. The professor's standing up there and you feel like, okay, do I have to say something? Well, this can be a way to mitigate that. And there are other ways to contribute online. So I've seen a lot of students. There are students in some of my classes who have never spoken a word, even in our Zoom session. It doesn't matter though, because they'll be contributing in the chat box on the side. Or, in the discussion threads, they'll have, deep involved things to say and great feedback and input. So for some of us, I think it really can be a different way of learning and a great way of learning. I also want to tell the extroverts in the room that online learning will still give you a chance to connect with other people. As Judy mentioned, those Zoom sessions are rocking. in the breakout rooms and everything, you get to really know people and talk. I mean, it's as if you're right there. So if you have any experience using your phone for FaceTime or Skype to call family and loved ones, I mean, it's like that. So it's what you put into it in a lot of ways. Was there interactions with the professor and the classmates? Well, yes. But that's not really a function of online learning per se. That really comes down to the course itself, the professor, the dynamics of the students. So you can have professors who just stand up at the front of the room and lecture, and they can do that essentially online too, and you just sit there, in your study with your cup of tea and listen and take notes. That is totally a real thing that can happen. And you also have students who are maybe wallflowers and who don't want to participate, or who deliberately angle the webcam in such a way where they're like shaded out and everything. Okay, that's your jam. So those are very real things, and it's up to the professor in those cases to sort of involve those people more. And one of the things I really took away from Jane's course, the Learning in the Digital Age, was how great she was about pulling people in, so not letting anyone get away with just being the wallflower in the back. I think as instructors, it's often easy to keep going to the students who are giving us the most. Oh, they're already participating. Well, it's like, all right, good, give me that. But the harder part and the more rewarding part is pulling in some of those students who maybe aren't as forthcoming initially, but kind of cultivating them and bringing them forth. That can be a really rewarding process. And with your classmates too, so as Judy mentioned, those breakout sessions, you really get to know people online. I've connected with a lot of people afterwards on Facebook, on campus, in person, LinkedIn. So it's terrific. I highly recommend it. Was it easier? Well, I guess you want to define easier here. What do you mean? The materials and the assignments themselves are completely kind of divorced from the delivery. So those are really two different things, but was it more convenient in some senses? I mean, yes, absolutely. It's wonderful to, like I said before, be able to make a cup of tea, go upstairs in your pajamas, close the door in your study, and Zoom in for a session. I mean, for me, that was awesome, but I also don't have children or elderly parents to care for. I have a partner who takes care of the dog while I have class, so that's great for me, but I can see how for other people that might not be easier. They might really want the opportunity to come to campus and to just shut out the rest of the world for an hour and a half and focus on one thing. So the easier is really in the eye of the beholder, I think, in that case. There are the affordances and benefits and the pros and cons of both. And that whole thing of driving to campus and walking and parking. So it depends. Did I learn this way? Yeah, but that I'm totally biased, and I need to put my biases out there right away. I spend a lot of time online. My whole career, my life, I live, I play, I work online. I'm in digital spaces all the time, so this is a very comfortable realm for me. I also love learning. I think it was Judy or maybe Dr. Wolf who mentioned that the best teachers are lifelong learners. I love learning. I love like a knowledge junkie. Just give me more. And so this is a space for me where I'm really excited to learn. I want to learn. I'm actively engaged. And I want to also be clear that all the courses I've taken so far at Warner, Coursera, Higher Ed Experts, these are all courses that are totally within my wheelhouse, in the sense of I'm picking things that are really related to topics that I'm interested in. So literature of the English country house, I love books, I love Jane Austen, I love the British, this was a given for me. Search engine optimization, I was this is great for me professionally, maybe I'll get a raise. The degree requirements for my program, again, this is a program I've elected to be part of, so even something like master's research methods, which was a requirement, it's overall part of something I've opted into. But there are definitely subjects that I, maybe not as keen on. I haven't, taken calculus since high school, and I would never want to take that again, or physics. If I had to do a required thing that was really outside the scope of what I do, that might be a little bit harder. And so I can't speak to that experience. I do want to say the intro to video production with Kristana was great because we did a lot of the work online, a lot of the background work, just getting familiar with terms and everything. But then we had what's called Studio Saturday. So we actually came into campus. It was, I think, a 4 or 6 week course. And one of the Saturdays we had to come into campus and like hands-on, like touch the equipment, turn on the mics, unfurl the ropes and get the gaffer tape down and that kind of thing. And that is much harder to do on your own. It's not impossible. People have video equipment at home and stuff that they can play with, but playing with that like high-end expensive camera, setting up a studio, doing the lighting, I mean, that was just an invaluable experience. So there are definitely times when a face-to-face or hybrid experience can enhance learning or maximize learning. I don't think that's always true, but this was a particular case where I think the Studio Saturday just took that learning to the next level, kind of made the abstract concrete in that way.